All right, I'm back again. I'm back again, round two on this Sunday morning. I want to talk about mustard seed faith. Mustard seed faith. Say it with me. Mustard seed faith on a Sunday morning. Boy, do we need a little bit of this. A little bit of this goes a long way. This is another message that I had already talked about a little bit in one of my previous YouTube videos, but I want to expound upon it even further because uh, I've got some responses back, and it's people that are in the scales, they're in the valley, and it's like, I don't understand what it is about this whole faith thing that I'm lacking. Why is faith not working for me? And I believe that I have faith and that I am implementing faith in my life. I'm executing it to the best of my knowledge with my whole heart, my spirit. I'm living right. I'm doing all this. But by faith, I don't see God actively, his hand actively in the spaces that I occupy. And this is a concern for me, and I really need it. So my answer to that this morning is that let's mitigate some confusion. And this may be a controversial message for some, and for others, it may be an eye opener. It may be enlightening for you, and you may say, "Okay, well, that's it." And it's really simple, but it can be complicated to some. So my answer or my response to this is that God, when he's talking about faith, because we understand that faith is something that you cannot see. Faith is something that you cannot reach out and grab. It is in the spirit. So it is a spiritual portion of God. So what God is looking for now, because God in faith in its fullness is God. Faith in its fullness is God. It came out of God. It emanates from God. So you can't even you can't even have it without God. Even in the New Testament, it talks about how he gave some this and he gave some others. It's measures. Paul talks about it, measures of faith. Okay, but it is given to you. So here's the deal. The deal is this. It's not about the amount that you have that's going to make a difference. It's about when God comes back to check on what you're requesting of him through faith, which is who he is, that becomes the concern. So what God now is looking for is himself in you. I basically just cleared it all up with that right there. God is looking for himself in you. Now let me explain. In Hebrews, the 11th chapter, verse number 1, it says, now faith. So we can look at it as right now, in terms of, if you again exegesis, eisegesis, I'm gonna eisegete a little bit because I need to bring this in, let me reel you into the revelation of God. So now faith, now talking about right now faith, or you could say now hear this. You can look at it that way. Now wait a minute, now hear this. Now faith is. You could do it that way. Or you could say, now faith is the substance. You hear the difference in the inflection. So now faith is the substance. Now substance coming from something that was not substance. Now that produces substance. Now faith is the substance. It's the stuff. It becomes tangible. It's tangible now. Now faith is the substance of things of things. You go from the spirit realm into the natural realm or into the tangible realm, something that you can grab a hold to, that you can actualize. Now faith is a substance of things hoped for. So we take this faith, which is critical, and it becomes a substance of things that we hoped for. Now I got it. I got something by my faith. It became a substance, but it was something that I hoped for that I did not have. Stay with me. And then out of that, it becomes the evidence now, because it starts off in the spirit. It becomes substance, something that is no longer so much spirit, but without the spirit, you can't get it. Okay, so it becomes a substance of things hoped for. Was my desire. And out of my desire, all that now produces the evidence of things not seen. The evidence. The thing that was not seen was the faith. So it's so important that you have faith. Now that's in Hebrews 11:1. Now let's move on down because I want to move quick. Hebrews in 11:6, it says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. Talking about God. Without faith. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is. All right, now watch this. He must believe. If you want to please God, that person that wants to please God must believe that he is. He is. That's you. That's you. That he is, and that, okay, this is one he is to you. And then it goes on to say, and that he is, this is another he is here. Read it, King James Version, that he is a rewarder. So the first he is not the rewarder. The second he is the rewarder. That he is a rewarder to them that diligently seek him. So you have he is first, which is you, to a he is second, which is God. So again, God is saying, how do you feel about yourself? Because if you don't present me out of you back to me, we're going to have a problem with you being rewarded, because I will reward them that diligently seek me. All right, got to move on. Jesus says this. He says, pray when you pray. He taught his disciples. He says, pray thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Well, what was he talking about when he was talking to the disciples? What was he saying? He says, now when you model this, he says, pray that whatever is going on in heaven is reflective of what is going to go on in the earthly realm. You have a heavenly realm and you have an earthly realm. I want them to mirror one another. That's what I want them to do. Now, so we still, because I'm saying God is looking for himself, and this is the issue with the whole faith thing. So he's got to see himself. The whole issue is, church, people, men and women of God, is that God, he hear you and he wants to respond, but he can only respond to him. The faith that you have has to be his faith, which is presented back to him. Now, Genesis 1:3, it says, and God said, let there be light. Now, this is God talking. Genesis 1:3, he says, let there be light, and there was light. In other words, it was what God said it was. It's going to be whatever I say it's going to be. If I say it's going to be light, then it's going to be light. Okay, now that's God talking, but we still talking about, you being a reflection of God. And Jesus even saying, he says, when you pray, let pray thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. That's what you got to do. So these two things have to mirror one another. Genesis 2:19 says, and out of the ground the Lord God formed beasts of the field and every fowl of the air and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. Now watch this. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name that it was. That was the name thereof. It's going to be what I say it is. You see what I'm saying? Now, he makes Adam, okay? He forms Adam. He's making Adam to be a little g, a little God. So I'm the big God, and I want you to be me, to represent me on earth. And faith is me. So when you speak, you have to speak out of the same substance that I am, because you were made in the image and the likeness of God. So when you speak by faith and you call those things that be not as though they were, that faith that I'm looking to respond to is myself. That's what God is saying. I want to respond to me. I'm not responding to you. See, because when you start getting you in it, then you corrupt it. And then you start getting emotional and all kind of stuff, getting your feelings all involved, and you want God to come and to see about your feelings. But he says, no, that ain't how I work. I come to see about me in you. In you. So when I see me in you, then it's time for me to respond. So a lot of us are not getting what we need to get from God because we're presenting us to God in our faith. And that's not the faith that he's looking for and that he wants you to present to him. So now you can see how, as God said, let there be light, and it was, when he positioned Adam, put him in place, and he says, Adam, what you gonna do with this right here? And Adam started naming all the animals, and whatever he named them is what they became. They was that. They were that. So now mustard seed faith, because it's all we need, because we thinking we need a whole lot. But mustard seed faith, according to Matthew 17:20, it says, and Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief. See what's going on? Now, he already made a certain way. There's contamination, there's sin, and we got all that kind of stuff. And so Jesus is saying, here's the issue. The issue is that you're tied up in earthly things. You're tied up in sin. You're tied up in ambition and desires and all this other noise and distractions and all that. So he says, because of your unbelief. Then he goes on to say, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith, hear this, as a grain of mustard seed. See, he's not looking for a certain amount. He says, but I'm just looking for faith. And this faith can be the size of a grain of mustard seed. He says, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to a yonder place. Mountain, big old mountain. Okay, in the earthly realm, because he's trying to paint a picture in the natural so you can see something in the spirit. But it's the spirit that we have to understand in order to move the natural mountain out of our life. Because if we don't understand the spirit part of what Jesus is saying, the mountain will remain. So he says, you can say, remove hence to a yonder place, get somewhere else, get away from me. And it shall be removed, and nothing shall be impossible for you. Now, it may be impossible for somebody else, but nothing will be impossible for you. And all you need is just a little bit. This is what I was trying to communicate in one of my other videos about the faith, mustard seed faith. And all you need is a little bit. And I talked about the little mustard seed you put in the ground is so small, but as it grows up, it's one of the biggest trees ever on the face of the earth. And Jesus showed it like that. And he presented these things in the natural to give us a spiritual perspective of who he is and what he can do through natural things so we can be built up. But at the end of the day, what we have to have is God's faith. God is looking to respond to himself. I hope you got that. He is looking to respond to him through you. Respond to himself through you. So going forward, you know this much, that it's not my faith. It's the faith that I have of God that he's going to respond from. Use that kind of faith. My brothers and my sisters, I hope that this has been a blessing to you and that you have been edified on this Sunday morning. I want you to be blessed, be encouraged, and know once again that the worst is over and the best is yet to come. Your quality of life is getting better and better and better. And you know what? Ye shall live and not die and declare the works of the Lord. Be blessed until we see one another again.